Hey, how's it going, everybody? Shaun here for another daily movie review. Spooky season continues, and today I wanted to talk about one of my newer favorite of mine. It's new to me, new-ish to me. I first saw this about like 2 or 3 years ago. That's 1988's Pumpkinhead. The film is directed by Stan Winston, and yes, the Stan Winston that you think he is. He's the special effects maestro, responsible for most of the cool things that you saw in the 80s, 90s, and I don't know, up till the 2010 or so. Didn't he pass away? Yeah, he passed away in 2008. So, legendary. Every cool thing you ever saw, he was probably responsible for it. The film was written by, excuse me, Mark Patrick Carducci and Gary Guarini, based on a poem by Ed Justin. And it stars Lance Henriksen, Jeff East, John DeQuino, Kimberly Ross, Joel Hoffman, Cynthia Bain, Carrie Remsen, Florence Shuffler, and others. The plot synopsis logline is: after a tragic accident, a man conjures up a towering, vengeful demon called Pumpkinhead to destroy a group of unsuspecting teenagers. Now, this is kind of a special movie. I think it often gets overlooked. You know, it's not like the greatest movie in the world. It does have some problems. Stan Winston, God love him. As much as we all love his ability as a special effects guy, this does feel very much like a first-time director's movie, you know? Mostly because of like structure and pacing. But it's so short you really don't notice, and it has so many interesting, cool elements. The movie is constantly kind of moving and revealing itself in different and cool ways. The lore of Pumpkinhead, like the mythology of the story, is very cool, and as it's kind of slowly doled out throughout the story, it's a lot to just kind of keep you interested on that level. Another, I would say, like a director thing is like I don't think he did a very good job all the time balancing all of the characters, and the part of the problem is every character in this thing is kind of unlikable for one reason or another. So when there's these kind of like shithead kids that accidentally hit this guy's son, they're kind of like unlikable and just hard to invest in. So when they become victims, you don't really care. And the movies also does not make them mean-spirited enough as a collective that you're cheering it on either. Lance Henriksen, this is the era of Lance Henriksen where he's playing a lot of kind of men of questionable moral content, like kind of in the gray area. Around this time, he also did Near Dark. He's very method, even for movies like this. And this is one of the things that I've always really liked about Lance Henriksen, is that no matter what he's doing, and he does like a lot, and he did and has done a lot of genre stuff, he fully commits. You know, something like this, apparently he went out and bought his own dentures. He bought all the clothing for his character. His character has like these silver dollars. He like went and bought those too. He creates a full, well-rounded thing, but he does it in such a weird, like dark way that it doesn't come off outputting, but he's always like really intimidating. Like he's supposed to be kind of this warm, almost loving paternal presence. And you're supposed to kind of see him break as a man after what happens to his son. He's a widower, and all this is just him and his son. And they run this little country store, and that's supposed to break him, right? But he always is Lance Henriksen though, so he's always got this kind of it's like a menacing quality to him. You know who actually would have been probably pretty good in this role would have been like James Woods. He could have, because I think he could have maybe balanced it a little bit better. Although, you can't really, I guess, no, you know what? I take that back. Disavow that comment. James Wood is way too smarmy to be like a warm paternal presence. And I say that as a huge James Woods fan. And I say everything I'm saying right now about Lance Henriksen as a giant Lance Henriksen fan. But even though I think like maybe you don't believe like the turn of the character, why he would like want to go to the old witch in the woods and invoke this demon, this Pumpkinhead, to get revenge on his enemies. Once that does happen though, he gets to give like a cool full on like Lance Henriksen weirdo performance that only Lance Henriksen could kind of deliver. I would say a companion to performance to this is definitely something like Near Dark. What else did he do back in the day? Holy shit, he's got a huge filmography. This guy worked. He worked. At the time he's doing he's the Terminator. He's also a great kind of head in the Terminator. I mean, he had a good, nice run here. Aliens, Near Dark, Pumpkinhead, Survival Quest, Hit List, The Last Samurai, The Pit and the Pendulum, Stone Cold. Yeah. Alien 3, Jennifer 8. Wow, I mean, Super Mario Brothers. That's right, he has a little cameo. He's also the bad guy in Hard Target. He's in Man's Best Friend around this time. And even Man's Best Friend is another example of a guy that he's like slightly miscast, but the miscasting actually adds this really interesting meta quality to it. I would say the same thing kind of applies here. But anyways, yeah, he goes for it. He gives you a full performance, scenery chewing, crazy Lance Henriksen performance, and it's a lot of fun in that. I would say the star of this movie, though, is probably the creature. The creature effect is really fucking cool. It's like a mix between a xenomorph and like a demon, like a more traditional like monster, some kind of hell beast. Really cool, and the practical effects, like the way they pull it off, is really awesome. I would like to give a shout out to the cinematography in this movie is fantastic. It's the cinematographer's Bojan Bazelli, which I'm not sure. I should have looked up before. I thought I did the other day. I mean, he's got a really cool like just vibe and look. He's worked with Gore Verbinski a few times, which I'm not a huge Gore Verbinski fan per se, but I do think his movies look really great, like The Ring from 2002, Cure for Wellness, which is an interesting movie. Maybe I might try to get around to that before the end of the spooky season, but that's also another gorgeous looking movie. Even fucking, what else did he do? The Lone Ranger, that looks really great. Boxing Helena, California, Surviving the Game. I mean, he's got some nice stuff in here. Some nice work. He also did Stan Winston's only other feature film, A Gnome Named Norm, which, yeah, that's all he does. Stan Winston as a director did 2 movies. He did Pumpkinhead and A Gnome Named Norm. And then he was like, I'm going to retire on top. Holy shit. He actually, is this the same one I'm thinking it is? Oh, dude, he did the cinematography for King of New York. Ooh. What a fucking rad movie that is. That is someone I got to do on Zoobox Goes to the Movies. I got to get Dan Profit involved. Be like, yo, dude, let's talk about King of New York. Because I feel like that's a movie Dan would like. And also have interesting things to say. But yeah, the movie's got a beautiful look. Like just all the nighttime photography, the use of like kind of the sets, the atmosphere, the tone, the texture. Finding out that he did the cinematography for King of New York actually kind of makes sense because it has this really... It's like stage play almost. It's like theatrical, but also kind of has a natural vibe to it. Now, Pumpkinhead obviously feels a little more theatrical than King of New York, but I think like the quality to the texture of what he's presenting there, this weird, bizarro naturalism that slightly heightens everything, I think is really present in Pumpkinhead, and also in a more subtler extent in King of New York. But Pumpkinhead... that is so visually interesting to look at. And actually, honestly, I really need to get the Blu-ray. They did a Blu-ray upgrade of this, 2014. I think Scream Factory did it, because this fucking DVD, I don't know if it's because of my TV. Like, I have a 65-inch 4K TV. So I'm like, I don't know if it's because of that, but it is a muddy fucking image. And it didn't ruin it, because you can, you understand the intent of what you're watching, and that you're just watching a washed out image because it's on DVD. But... yeah, it made it kind of a bitch to watch, or made it less enjoyable. It became frustrating because I wanted to just like enjoy and embrace like the beautiful texture and the tone and the atmosphere that the movie sets. Beautiful usage of lights and different kind of gels on the lights to kind of create this hellish, otherworldly quality to it. Like I said, it's like this. It feels like a recognizable reality, but just heightened. The other star of the movie, the other big thing, I think, is the lore. It's a unique, original story. It's kind of like a gothic, Southern Gothic kind of feel to it. It feels, and then it feels very traditional in a lot of ways for like just folklore in general, in terms of people that go and meet the witch in the woods and then have to make a devil's bargain to, get their revenge, but they're so distraught that they don't care, and then they end up kind of regretting it and having to kind of go against their own wishes. And that's, it's kind of what happens in Pumpkinhead, but just the presentation of it all was really awesome. Whoever plays the witch, like the witch in the woods, the old hag, is great. I'm trying to think, trying to find it. I'm not sure what she's credited as in the movie, so that's my bad. My bad, everybody. I'm really bad at this. Anyways, old hill woman, Madeline Taylor Holmes. Maybe. Anyway, she's great. I would say most of the cast is pretty good. Like, there's not really anybody that sticks out as being like particularly bad, especially relative to what the kind of movie it is. But everybody's good enough that it's not distracting or anything like you might find in some other movies. I think while I think it has problems, and I think it has problems in terms of like some of its structure and the way it builds out some of the characters, and character motivations don't feel very clear. There's a lot of underdevelopment, especially when it comes to like these kids that accidentally, or these teenagers that accidentally hit Lance Henriksen's son, or accidentally. It's never very clear kind of what really happened, because one of them is a loose cannon, and he can't get caught again. That's why they actually do a hit and run. Sends Lance Henriksen to the hill lady, to the hill woman, make a deal. It's got this Lance Henriksen's accent is bad, but in a great way. I really love that about the movie. But like other than structural stuff, but I think overall though, really impressive. I mean, and I came to this really late, so it's not like I have nostalgia for it. I have no reason to kind of give it a pass. But when you watch a lot of these movies, as I have over the years, a lot of them kind of bleed together. They're not very unique. They're not very interesting. They all kind of just feel like one big blob of a movie when it comes to monster movies, slasher movies. So the fact that this has its own like kind of unique aesthetic, it's better shot than I would say like 90% of these movies from the era. That it does have its own sense of unique, idiosyncratic kind of lore. And then the creature effects are obviously stellar. Best in the business, Stan Winston. It makes it a much more memorable movie. It makes it much more distinct. So yeah. Love it. Love Pumpkinhead. Even though I have problems with it, I still love it. It's a great movie. You should check it out. If you've never seen Pumpkinhead, check it out. Try to find it streaming or something, or if you can find an HD version, because the old DVD is a little rough looking. I was kind of surprised. I was going to try to listen to the commentary before I got around to doing this video, but I just got to get some stuff recorded today. But even this old collector's edition has some great special features. It's got commentaries, it's got like kind of making ofs and behind the scenes stuff, and it's really great. Yeah, definitely worth the $3. Muddy image quality and all. All right, everybody, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to know more about Zoobox, there's a bunch of links in the description for Facebook, for Instagram, for my Twitter, for Dan's Twitter. Also, if you would like to make a recommendation for one of these daily movie reviews, you just throw it in the comments. We are doing spooky season right now. I do a few ahead at a time. So if I don't get to it, I will get to it at some point. Even if it's not a spooky movie, I will put it on. I'm compiling a list. People occasionally will throw things out there, and that stuff will start in November. So like November 1st. Also, just as an aside, I might slow down on the movie reviews. I might not do one a day anymore, because I was thinking like I really want to take more time with them and maybe be more thoughtful, take more notes, actually kind of not speak so extemporaneously, just because, I understand sometimes it just ends up rambling, and depending on like if I'm tired or whatever, tend to repeat myself, just want to try to make it better. So if I can watch less movies and spend more time crafting my opinions on them, maybe that'll be more valuable to you as the viewer. I don't know. Let me know. Do you enjoy these daily movie reviews? Do you like the off-the-cuff stuff? Would you like something that's a little bit more structured? You let me know. All right, everybody. You have the best one.